Thank you for joining us for this second Public Information Center for the South Laurel Avenue Concept Development Project between AT&T Drive and Commons Way. This is an important infrastructure project that will improve safety, accessibility, and overall quality of life for the residents, commuters, and businesses in our community. This section of roadway plays a critical role in our transportation network. It connects Garden State Parkway exit 114 with State Route 35 and serves several key residential neighborhoods, Bow Ridge, Cedar Village, and Laurel Green, as well as commercial destinations like the Commons at Homedale and AT&T Labs. Unfortunately, the current condition of South Laurel Avenue under the railroad bridge does not meet modern design standards. The bridge itself, carrying two electrified tracks of the North Jersey Coast Line, creates a pinch point. The restricted clearance beneath it limits visibility and mobility for vehicles, bicycles, and pedestrians. Narrow shoulders, a lack of sidewalks, and poor sight lines at unsignalized intersections all contribute to the challenges along the corridor. The project will eliminate the horizontal and vertical deficiencies at the railroad bridge that currently restrict traffic flow and the low clearance that has resulted in many truck strikes over the years. New Jersey Transit replaced the southern half of the superstructure during the summer of 2022 after a truck strike that caused severe damage and plans to replace the northern half in 2026. These projects have and will improve the vertical underclearance, but the horizontal pinch point will remain. Crash data along the corridor shows higher than average rates for rear end, swipes, and fixed object crashes in this area. The county feels strongly that this corridor should support safe access for all users, whether driving, biking, walking, or using mobility aids. The project will provide a continuous roadway corridor that provides two travel lanes in each direction, with both shoulders and sidewalks that will improve safety for the traveling public, including pedestrians and bicyclists. This project is essential for aligning the corridor with the Monmouth County Highways Master Plan and Complete Streets policy. And while the primary goal is to address the horizontal and vertical clearance issues at the bridge, we're also working toward setting a broader goal and objectives, including reducing crashes and traffic delays throughout the corridor, improving safety and accessibility for pedestrians and bicyclists, addressing several key culvert bridges along the route, and minimizing any potential impact on rail service during construction. This project will also involve ongoing stakeholder and public engagement to ensure we're capturing community input and delivering solutions that best serve the public. We are committed to improving safety, connectivity, and mobility for everyone who travels throughout this important section of South Laurel Avenue. I look forward to working together with our residents, partners, and agencies to move this project forward. Thank you.
This South Laurel Avenue concept development project began in 2005 when Homedale Township received an $800,000 federal grant as part of the SAFE-T Act. However, the project was too large and complicated for the township to advance. The grant focused on the horizontal and vertical clearance of the NJ Transit Bridge over South Laurel Avenue, which carries two electrified tracks of the North Jersey Coast Line. Monmouth County Division of Engineering and Traffic Safety has assumed responsibility for administering the federal process for this project and progressing it forward in the concept development phase. The first Public Information Center was held in 2022. Since then, 10 alternatives have been explored. At this time, the county has selected their preferred preliminary alternative, which will be discussed later in the presentation. This selected alternative was presented to the local officials in Middletown and Homedale in April and has received support from all parties, in addition to receiving support from NJ Transit. Due to the numerous truck hits over the years, the bridge underwent an emergency repair project along the south side of the railroad structure, which was designed and constructed. The second emergency repair project along the north side of the railroad structure has completed the final design phase and is anticipating construction in 2026. The project is being advanced under the NJDOT Capital Project Delivery process, which includes 4 phases that take a project from concept development through construction. This project is currently in the concept development phase, which includes development of the purpose and need statement, data collection, and selecting a preferred alternative with local and stakeholder input. This phase must be completed before advancing into the project design phases and subsequently the construction phase. At the close of concept development, a decision is made as to whether or not to advance the project into the subsequent design phases, which include preliminary engineering, final design, and then construction. Each step typically takes 18 months to 2 years. The first public information center was held to identify the needs and wants of the property owners and stakeholders within the vicinity of the project area, and allowed the public to provide their input on the various alternatives that would be investigated within the concept development phase. This second public information center is where we will share the preferred alternative that has been selected by the county and has gained approval from both Middletown and Holmdel townships as well as NJ Transit. This project location map shows South Laurel Avenue, which serves as a major connection between the Garden State Parkway, Exit 114, and State Route 35. The project limit at the north end is Commons Way, and the project limit at the south end is AT&T Drive, as signified by the green arrows. The project length is approximately 1 mile. Within the project limits, there are several large residential developments: Bow Ridge condominiums, Cedar Village at Holmdel, and Laurel Green condominiums, retail Commons at Holmdel, and commercial AT&T Labs. Additionally, this map identifies the 4 existing culverts that convey stream crossing under the South Laurel Avenue roadway within the project limits. The bridge has sustained multiple truck hits due to several factors. Monmouth County added advanced warning signs coming from both the NB and SB directions, showing the vertical clearance of 12 feet 5 inches. However, the trucks continue to hit the bridge. The south side of the bridge was raised to 13 feet 9 inches when NJ Transit HNTB completed their emergency bridge repair. The existing was 13 feet 1 inch. However, both directions are still signed as 12 feet 5 inches. The north side will be raised to 13 feet 9 inches as well when they complete their second phase of the emergency bridge repair project. Design has been completed, and this is anticipated to begin construction in 2026. Substandard design elements at the bridge include narrow lanes, lack of shoulders, and lack of sidewalks, which raise safety concerns for drivers, bicyclists, and pedestrians. This hourglass configuration of Laurel Avenue is a focus of the project. The railroad bridge strikes have continued throughout the local concept development phase. Most recently, the bridge was struck on April 29, 2025. Before that, it was hit on February 13, 2025. Not only do the truck hits cause a dangerous situation to drivers, they result in traffic backed up for miles and major impacts to the local roadways and residents. As noted earlier in this presentation, there are several environmental constraints within the project limits along South Laurel Avenue. These include the tributaries to Mahoris Brook shown in blue, their associated wetlands as identified in the green crosshatch, riparian zones identified in the blue dot hatch, threatened and endangered species, as well as the New York and Long Branch Railroad Historic District, identified by the pink circle and square on this map. NJDEP recently approved more restrictive permitting regulations, which will expand the limits of the riparian zones and the requirements to manage stormwater. The purpose and needs statement is the foundation of every transportation project and is a key component of the concept development phase. Information collected during this phase is critical to the development of the purpose and needs statement and establishes why the project is being advanced. The purpose developed for the Laurel Avenue project states, "The purpose of the project is to eliminate the horizontal and vertical deficiencies at the railroad bridge to allow for safety and operational improvements along South Laurel Avenue, County Route 52, from AT&T Drive to Commons Way." The project need documents the transportation deficiency or problems identified during data collection, and the goals and objectives are the primary improvements that the project should address. It is the key factor in determining the range of alternatives to be considered, developed, and evaluated to determine if the alternative meets the project's purpose. The project need includes: South Laurel Avenue between the project limits does not meet current design standards for vertical and horizontal clearance at the railroad bridge, intersection sight distance at unsignalized intersections, and lane and shoulder widths. South Laurel Avenue does not comply with Monmouth County's Complete Streets policy. Narrow shoulders and lack of sidewalks are not conducive to bicycle/pedestrian safety. Additionally, crash data indicated crash rates that are higher than the statewide average for both head-on and fixed object collisions. Monmouth County design standards were implemented when considering the ideal typical section of the roadway. The PPA, as discussed on the next slide, takes into consideration the design aspects shown here, such as lane widths, center turn lane widths, and sidewalks. The selected preferred alternative provides the following design features: 2 11-foot wide lanes in each direction, 12-foot center turn lane throughout the project corridor, 6-foot wide outside shoulders to accommodate cyclists, 6-foot wide sidewalks to accommodate pedestrians, a center pier at the two-span railroad bridge, a lowered roadway at the railroad bridge to provide a vertical clearance of 15.2 feet. This results in an overall pavement width of 68 feet. This slide shows the layout of the preferred alternatives selected by Monmouth County. As you can see, there are 2 11-foot lanes in each direction, a 12-foot center turn lane, 6-foot outside shoulders, and 6-foot sidewalks along both sides of the road. The hourglass configuration has been eliminated at the RR Bridge, and the intersection turning movements have been maintained at either end of the project limits. This slide shows the typical section for the preferred alternative selected by the county. The dashed lines on the bridge section identify the existing bridge opening. As you can see, the bridge will be widened and the roadway lowered at this location to provide improvements for both the vertical and horizontal clearance. The total bridge opening from abutment to abutment will be 84 feet, and the pavement width will be 68 feet. This slide shows the conceptual profile for the county's selected alternative. You can see that the roadway will be lowered at the railroad bridge, which allows us to maximize the vertical clearance at the RR Bridge while minimizing impacts to the train tracks. The county has been in coordination with NJ Transit throughout the concept development phase and has gained approval from NJ Transit for this alternative. This slide shows the conceptual bridge plan identifying the center pier and abutment location. 4 culverts within the project limits carry tributaries to the Mahoras Brook underneath the roadway. These culverts were evaluated as part of the concept development phase to determine whether replacements or lengthening the existing culverts would be necessary. The stream presents environmental constraints that will be analyzed as this project moves into the next phase of design. The northernmost culvert is located north of the NJ Transit Bridge. Structure H43 is comprised of twin 60 inches corrugated metal pipes, which are severely corroded, and the timber head walls are deteriorating. The existing corrugated metal pipe will be replaced with a 60 inches diameter pipe. This is dependent on H&H analysis to be performed during later phases of design. The second culvert, known as H9, is located near Stephen Court. This culvert is comprised of a 48 inches concrete pipe that crosses S. Laurel Avenue on a skew. The existing concrete pipe will require lengthening to accommodate the widened roadway. This is dependent on H&H analysis to be performed during later design phases. The third is structure H35, which is a box culvert located south of Boxwood Terrace. This culvert carries another tributary of Mahoras Brook under the roadway. The existing box culvert will require lengthening to accommodate the widened roadway, depending on H&H analysis to be performed during later design phases. The fourth culvert, structure H35A, is located near Continental Boulevard, which is an entrance to Bow Ridge condominiums. This culvert is a 60-inch reinforced concrete pipe that also conveys an unnamed tributary of Mahoris Brook. No changes are anticipated to the existing reinforced concrete pipe. Repairs may be required, which will be evaluated in the later phases of the design. A community survey was mailed out in December 2022. The survey was mailed to property owners, retail owners, condo HOAs, and businesses along the project corridor within Holmdel and Middletown townships, in addition to stakeholders, which includes local officials, schools, engineers, emergency services, and NJ Transit. We received 11 responses to the survey, which helped us better understand the concerns that the local property owners have with the project area and what they would hope to see come out of a project along this corridor. On this slide, you will see some of the results from that survey. Primary concerns were safety and high speeds, narrow roadway and lack of sidewalks, and low vertical clearance at the railroad bridge, and local roads being used for detour routes. The lack of shoulders and sidewalks makes it unsafe to walk or bike along Laurel Avenue. The final steps within the concept development phase of this project are finalizing the preferred alternative based on any input received from residents/businesses during the comment period for this public information meeting. The concept development process will then be summarized and presented to determine if it can advance to the next state of the project delivery process, which is preliminary engineering. This presentation will be available on both Holmdel and Middletown Township websites, as well as Monmouth County's website through September 22, 2025. Any comments or questions can be emailed to Anthony Siteco through this date via mail at the address shown or email. General questions about the project can also be directed to Vince Cardone at the Monmouth County Division of Engineering at the email and phone number shown.